we will go ahead and get started with our practice. And just like always at Yoga to the People, we will start this practice from child's pose. So find your child's pose, and I always encourage you to make your adjustments and find these places more quickly, right? Settle into the space where your forehead is resting heavy on the mat. Your hips are back towards your heels, and if you have to choose between hips and heels, then hips and forehead, then the choice is always going to be forehead. Now, whether your knees are spread or together really doesn't matter. Just find a place where you can breathe. So for the next 60 minutes, what we do is we'll share in this moving meditation. Right at the end of the day, the only thing that really matters is you and your breath, and we will work to cultivate this relationship between the two. In order to first develop a relationship, we have to become acquainted with the breath. So from here, let's all exhale fully. Make an SH sound as you empty yourself. As you reach that empty point, go ahead and fill yourself up. Take an intentional breath, a breath that lights you up, and feel it swirl around in through your lungs, especially the back of them, which are more present to the front of your room or outdoor space. And then exhale, let it go. HA. Now, from here, what we'll do is we'll start to further cultivate that relationship by bringing some movement into the breath. Right? So we talk a lot at Yoga to the People about doing these one breath, one movement sequences, and this will be the first. As you inhale, maybe you let your hips rock over towards the left side of your mat, and on your exhale, they sway to the right side. From there, that rock and that sway starts to make its way up your spine, and through your forehead. Start to walk your hands out in front of you, even if they're already in front of you. And like I said, with a real sense of purpose, press each digit of each finger into your mat as you crawl your fingers away from you. Right, lift up through your wrists and rotate the front part of your elbow more towards the front part of the room, sinking your hips back a little bit farther. From here, go ahead and flip your toes. Press your hands flat down into your mat, including the webbing of all your fingers, and then send your hips high and heels low. Come into your downward facing. As you arrive in this first downward facing of practice, take a moment. Take a moment to acquaint yourself with yourself. Start by pedaling out through your hips. Maybe taking a few hops as you kick your heels in towards your hips. Landing softly so you don't disturb any neighbors that might be beneath you. Inhale, come back through center, and we build this pose structurally. Look at that space in between your big toe knuckles. It should only be about 2 fist widths, or the width of your head. The goal is that we line up your bones, not the fleshy parts of your thighs or your hips. Spreading your fingers even wider, pressing that webbing, especially between thumb and first finger down. Make sure that the distance now between your thumbs is only about 6 to 8 inches. Now bend your knees softly and send your hips as high as you can as a function of pressing out through your shoulders. Now float your heels back down towards your mat, and we will call this your proper downward facing. We will come back to this place over and over again throughout practice. So maybe take a breath with closed eyes and let it sink in. Take an inhale here and bend your knees, look to the front of your mat, and then step or hop yourself to a forward fold position. As you hang heavy, go ahead and measure out 2 fist widths in between big toe knuckles. The goal here is, especially in the beginning, is that we open up through your lower spine. So soften your knees. Bend more at your hips than in your back. If you want to interlace your fingers on the back of your head or wrap their hands around your thighs, anything that feels good in this moment with a gentle rock, sway, or bounce is correct. Bringing your hands, releasing them down to the floor. Now inhale into a half lift. You can think of this as maybe a baby back bend. Tuck your tailbone out and back the same way that you did in downward facing. Flatten out through your spine. Now engage through those muscles above your knees, your quadriceps, but shift the weight forward towards your toes. And then exhale, forward fold. Now, as you inhale, sit your hips down and back, sweep your arms around and up. Let's go into your chair pose straight away. From here, close your eyes. The invitation will be there always, but it's especially encouraged in these poses where you're just standing in a way that you already know how to stand. Both of your feet are together. The only difference is that your weight is rocked fully back into your heels. Your belly button is then drawn back until it touches your spine and up until it disappears behind your lungs. Reach out through even your fingers and feel the muscles above your elbows engage through your triceps. Exhale, make an SH sound. Inhale into your mountain. Take a breath here to really feel this pose, letting it seep into all of your being. Those muscles above your knees are still engaged. They're just in a different shape. The tailbone is now tucked down. The belly button is still drawn in and up. See, it's not a hanging out pose. This is a very active pose. Close your eyes again and think about those relationships. Think about these engagements without the need to see. Are you rooted down evenly through your foot so that the mounds behind your toe and your heels are pressed actively and evenly into the floor? Exhale your air with an SH sound, very intentional. As you inhale, reach up and send your hips forward, back of heart back. Take a back bend. When there is no more back, go ahead and exhale yourself down and forward. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale your hands down, forward fold. Plant your 2 hands down to your mat and then step your legs back or hop into your upper push-up plank. Now from here, we want to think about some very specific engagements. First of all, as you look down, can you see your fingers in front of your face? Are you drawing up on your thighs so that if I push down, you don't move? And even your heels are active. Draw up on your belly button again. That's how you will hold yourself in space, especially when we start to balance later. Inhale, press into your mat so that your shoulder blades spread wide across your back. And as you exhale, lowering yourself down, let your top of arms press into the side of your body. Slide your chest first forward before up into your upward facing. Inhale. Flip your toes, press tops of feet down, draw shoulder blades together behind you. And then exhale, hips high, heels low, downward facing. That's sort of a modified sun salute. We're going to go through it a little bit faster this time. As you inhale, bend your knees, look forward, and bring yourself to standing in your forward fold. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair pose. Sit down, sit back, close your eyes, and take 3 honest breaths. Think of the first as an opportunity to connect with these engagements and alignment. Think of the second as a chance to relax into that place. And think of the third as your opportunity to show up for yourself for the first time this evening. And then exhale, SH. Now, as you inhale, stand up, look back, go back, fall back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale your hands down to your mat. Step or hop back into your upper push-up plank. Take an inhale to really root yourself into your mat before exhaling, lowering yourself down, sliding your chest forward. And then inhale, upward facing. Exhale, hips high, heels low, downward facing. I talk you through it one more time, and then we'll take a 30 or 40-second flow of your own. Inhale, soften your knees, look forward, and then exhale, step or hop, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, chair. Close your eyes and take your 3 breaths. See, if you sit here and you think about staying here for an extended period of time, that can be unending. But if you just focus on extending your inhales and exaggerating your exhales, well, then guess what? It's already time for you to exhale, SH. And then inhale up through your mountain, through your back bend, reaching back and going back. And then exhale, forward fold. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, hands down to your mat, step or hop into your upper push-up plank. And then let's take this as a 1 breath, 1 movement. Take yourself through your flow. And for the next 40 seconds, right? Maybe just 2 or 3 repetitions, go through that modified sun salute on your own. Like I said earlier, I especially encourage you to close your eyes. Your feet are together. It's early in the sequence. We haven't done any wacky bending or twisting. We're not standing on 1 foot. So this is your premier opportunity to really focus on just your breath and how it coincides with how you're moving. Wherever you're at, take yourself through this sequence 1 more time. If you're already back bending, go through the whole thing again. And we'll all meet up in a downward facing. And some of you are moving a little quicker. Some of you, as you arrive in that downward facing, I'll issue you a challenge. The challenge is very simple. Just stay. Nice, Sarah. Lift your chin just a little bit. There you go. So nice. 72. See, staying in this downward facing does a lot of things. We can say that it helps to open up through your back, and it's a good stretch for your hamstring, and it's sort of like a modified plank, so it helps you build all of this core strength. But you can also think of it as like a symbol of solidarity into the room, right? It's like a gesture that says, I got you. No, I don't want to do this either, but I'm here, I'm going to do it, and if you look at me, you can do it too. Let's exhale all of the air, SH. And then inhale, fill yourself up. Let that breath prepare you for movement, but also experience how it swirls in your breath. And then let it go, exhale, HA, ha. On your inhale, bring your right leg up. Reach your right leg as far up and as far back as you can, and then as you exhale, step it forward between your hands. Screw your left heel down and come into your warrior 1. Sit a little bit deeper than you want to in that right thigh. Now, if you are a little tighter in your hips, it may help for you to toe heel your right foot over towards the right edge of your mat a little bit. Now, use that space you've just created to send your left hip more forward and keep your left shoulder in line. Reach out long and strong through your arms, even through your fingers, from your hips up. This is just a mountain pose. Close your eyes. Take a big, full intentional inhale, right? Yoga without intention is just exercise. And as you exhale, peel open, find your warrior two. Now, if you moved your foot over towards the right edge of your mat, you're gonna have to toe heel it back in towards the center. This time, if you look down, your two heels are in line with each other. Good. Now, Kaylee, see that right knee? Let me have you peel it open towards the right. Yes. So peel it the other way. Good. So what we want to do is if you look down at your right knee, it needs to be in line with your right ankle. So if you feel that it's caving in towards the midline of your body, you have to engage those muscles on the outside of your hip in order to draw it back through center in order to protect your knee. Sit down lower, exhale with an SH sound. A focused inhale so that this pose finds its true space within your body, and then exhale your hands, cartwheel them down to the floor, take yourself through your flow. Inhaling your left leg up, step it forward and through, meet me in your warrior one. Now on this side, close your eyes. There's a big fancy word, it's called proprioception. It basically just means the ability to make adjustments or move your body as appropriate for the activity, right? So with your eyes closed, can you send your right hip more forward and keep your right shoulder in line? Do you feel the muscles above your elbows, your triceps squeezing, and are your fingers spread wide and actively? Exhale, SH, sit lower. Go ahead, get in there. Yeah, let it burn a little bit. And then peel it open, warrior two. Now, this outside edge of your right leg, push into my foot, push it, right? We want to feel this light all the way up through your thigh. But then you're going to tuck your left hip down more so that you can square off your hips if there were a mirror in front of you. Draw your belly button in and lean back. Lean your right shoulder back just about 2 inches towards the wall behind you so that if a straight line from the base of your skull to the bottom of your tailbone. From here, take an inhale with your eyes closed. Let this sink in. Feel this. Remember this. And as you exhale, cartwheel your hands down and take yourself through your flow. And then this flow is yours. It's very simple. It's warrior one. It's warrior two. I just watched all of you with your cameras on do this so fantastically. Now, if the words I say are very technical, and I make all these points about alignment and engagement, and those are all things that I offer to help you build strength and integrity within your practice. But during these moments of your one breath, one movement, you have whatever permission, if there is such a thing, that you need to let this be your very own flow. You take this as fast or as slow. You can think about every word I said or totally disregard it as long as it feels right for you in this moment, whichever version of yourself is on the mat, then you let it rock. As you make your way through one set of breath and movement, warrior one, warrior two on each side, we will again meet up in that downward facing. Those of you that have made it, it's very simple. Hang out for just another few breaths, building strength. Maybe it's because you're a good student and I suggested it. Maybe the best reason is because you don't want to do it. And then exhale, SH. So this inhale is two things. It's a reset and a recharge. And then let it go, Ha. Inhaling your right leg up. On your exhale, lift high on your left heel. Step that right foot through softly between your two hands. Breathe up through your warrior one. Exhale, open into your warrior two. Sit down deeper than you want to. With your eyes closed, go through that mental checklist of things. Is your knee stacked directly over your ankle? Do you feel your right thigh on fire? And maybe is that left foot really, really rooted down through the floor? Take an exhale to stay. And on your inhale, flip your palm and reach towards the front of your room so that now as you exhale, you'll go up a line and reach back for your reverse warrior. Now, in all of those things I said, I did not say straighten out your right leg. Sit deeper into that lunge, deeper than you want to. If you can't figure out what to do with your left hand, it either stacks neatly on your thigh or calf, or you can even take a half bind where you reach around your body for your right thigh. But don't put weight on your back knee. That's not a good look. Open up each muscle in between each one of your ribs. And Sarah, you got a puppy on you, so that means it's even more fun. Take a big, full, intentional inhale so that this sinks in. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands down, take yourself through your flow. All right, you know where we're going, so let's go. Inhale, left leg up. With your breath and your movement, meet me in warrior two. But don't just rush through these poses. There is no destination. The journey is the destination. So as you arrive in your warrior one, take a moment to experience it. Come into your warrior two and really let it sink in. Sit a little bit deeper, become intimately and maybe hyper aware of how you feel in this moment. Exhale, SH. Inhale, reach forward, flip your palm, reverse your warrior. So as you stay deep in that lunge, pull your belly in. We're going to stick with that, right? So what happens a lot when you do this kind of twist, a lot of times you'll kind of collapse into your spine. Really feel your belly button suck in. And then that way you can better stretch each muscle in between each one of your ribs. Those are called your intercostal muscles. They make it possible for you to breathe. And if you can't figure out what to do with your head, then just bring your chin to your left shoulder and look up. One more inhale here. Feel it swirl around in those lungs and that stretched chest cavity. And then exhale, cartwheel your hands down, take your flow. And just like that, we go one breath, one movement. It's up to you. And I'm not going to say anything because there's nothing I can say that will improve the situation. Like I said, this is a conversation between you and you with your breath as the moderator. Hold that downward facing. It can be hard to breathe, especially after all of that movement in this downward facing. So start to think about being comfortably uncomfortable. Take your cleansing breath. Exhale, SH. Light yourself up. Fill yourself as full as there is and let it go. H-A, ha. Those of you paying attention, inhale your right leg up. Exhale, step it forward and through. Take your warrior one and your warrior two. Remember, it's not a race. There is no destination. Take your time in each pose to really let them sink in. Take your inhale, reach forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Sit a little bit deeper, maybe reaching a little bit farther back than you did. I know you're already warmed up, so you're capable. Keeping that right thigh bent nice and deep. Now exhale your right hand down and forward inside the line of your right foot as you reach up through left side body, side angle. Now sit deeper. What happens in this pose a lot of times is you will feel that right hip wants to float or sass out towards the right side of your mat. So what you have to do, you have to use your core strength. You have to use your inner thighs. You have to use those muscles that you don't think about and don't like to squeeze in order to pull your body back through center line. Take one more inhale here. And then exhale your left hand down to your mat. Step your right leg back. Take yourself through your flow. Inhale your left leg up, step it forward and through. Take your trip to warrior two. See the sights. Take some photos. Inhale to reach forward. Exhale, reverse your warrior. Sit down deep. You know you're only staying for a breath, so sit a little deeper than you want to. Take a big full inhale to fill up that chest that's so stretched, and then exhale, left hand down, side angle. Now close your eyes. Bring your chin towards your right shoulder so that if your eyes were open or are open, you would be glancing up the back of your right arm and out the line of your right middle finger. And if your eyes are closed, it's okay. That's a very easy thing to imagine. Use those center muscles to pull you in. Take a big full inhale here. And then exhale your right hand down. Take yourself through your flow. And again, we go one breath, one movement. Warrior one, warrior two, reverse warrior, side angle. And this will be your last one breath, one movement. For the day, evening, we're all over the world. So for this class, so enjoy it. Take it for what it is. Nice, kitty. Oh, Sasha, you're on the second page. I missed you there. How are you? Good to see you. All right. If you've made it back into your downward facing, exhale, SH. And if you haven't, don't worry about it. You catch up to us when you catch up. It's all good. Feel yourself. intention and purpose. Let it go, HA. On your inhale, bend your knees, look forward. You can float or step, come to your forward fold. All right. So we've already done enough of that crazy chair pose, sort of. Toe heel your feet into touch, right? So your big toe knuckles are pressed into each other. Your thighs are engaged, squeezing into each other actively. And then inhale into your half lift from here. Exhale into your forward fold. Now inhale, sit down and sit back. This time, as you sweep your arms around and up, press your palms into each other. Now really think about pushing this knife edge of your hand, pinky side, into each other, and then spiral the front part of your elbow towards the ceiling by pressing into your hand that way, and feel how that lights up through your arms and your shoulders. Sit down deeper than you want to. Exhale, SH. As you inhale, keep your hands where they are, just come to standing. Now, you'll take your right hand, make sure that it's your right hand, and sweep it down and around underneath your left, crossing at elbows and wrists. On your inhale, you'll take a back bend. Bring your thumbs to your third eye. Raise your elbows higher up and back. As you keep those muscles on the top of your knees, your quadriceps engaged, keep sending your hips more forward. Heart goes towards the back of the room. And then exhale, bring yourself forward, sit down and sit deep back into that chair. Now take your right thigh, bring it up and around over your left, this time crossing at knees and perhaps at ankles for an eagle wrap. Now the point of this pose is that you squeeze your thighs together as much as possible. So some of you may have discovered that it's easier to wrap your leg all the way around and press your foot into your calf, and that's fine, as long as you're not using that as a place to hang out and avoid that squeeze. Take one more inhale, sit down deeper. Draw your arms down the front body line so that your nose sticks out over your fingers. And then inhale, unwind yourself, sweep your arms around back over your head. Your palms touch and your thumbs cross in that prayer pose again. Guy, unwrap yourself. There you go, brother. And then take your left hand, sweep it down and around underneath your right. Again, crossing at elbows and wrists. And now some of you may have a problem with that wrap. It's very difficult for me. So maybe just give yourselves a big hug with your left arm on bottom and reach for your shoulder blades, keeping that grip. Now inhale, hips forward, chest back, back bend, reach back, go back, look back, fall back. Trust. You must trust yourself to go back. And then exhale yourself forward, sit down, sit back, come into that chair. Then left thigh brings up and around over right. Now, as you sit down a little bit deeper, work to send your right hip more forward and left hip more back. If you think about it, you should try to be the shortest person in the room from the hips down, but then lift up from the hips up and be the tallest person. Even if you're in the room by yourself, I guess that cue works better in a whole class of people. And then exhale, SH. Inhale, stand up, unwind yourself. Sweep your arms around up over your head, and then exhale. Go ahead and just float them down. Float your arms down. Stay standing. Give yourselves a little shake or a wiggle. We're going to take a both. Okay. So you do left side first. Bring your right elbow into your right hip with your palm face up, and then reach back. Collect your foot from the inside or the big toe side. With your left arm, reach up and really extend all the way out through your left side body. Now, this pose is driven by the kick. Watch how when Alina does it, she starts to increase the distance from her heel to her hip. But she hasn't started going forward yet. In fact, she's fighting that sensation of going forward until she quite simply cannot kick anymore. Go ahead, you guys take your versions of it. Make sure it's the kick that drives the pose, and then that reach. As you eject your left shoulder towards the front of whatever room you're in is how you find your balance and stay. Now take your inhale and keep kicking into your hand, coming out of the pose so slowly. Anyone watching from the outside would think that you didn't want to. Releasing your right foot, float your left arm down, and if you need to, take a little wiggle. Now, left elbow, left hip. That's it, Indela. That's it. Shake it out, bro. Bring your left elbow into your left hip with your palm face up. And then reach down, reach back, collect your left foot. Starting with the setup, is that right thigh totally engaged? Squeezing your two knees to each other. Now, as you kick, really work to keep your left hip in line with your right. Don't let it start to cheat and open up, and then kick. Think first about increasing that distance between your heel and your hip. Keep reaching up, up, up before out. Out only comes as a byproduct of that kick. In the final moments, maybe you'll bring your chin. Haley, you got this. Bring your chin to your shoulder and let your gaze track down the back of your right arm. Right out that middle finger. Take an inhale to stay. And then kick yourself out and away. Nice recovery, Haley. Release your arm. Give yourselves a shake. Sweep your arms around up overhead, palms touch, thumbs crossed in prayer. Take it into a back bend, going back, falling back, reaching back. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale into your half lift. Exhale, hands to your mat. Step back into your upper push-up plank. I didn't forget about you. Stay. Now that we've done all of this work to think about these engagements, to think about these connections between breath and body, to think about squeezing. Come on, Sarah, you're good. Hang in there. Now just stay. Stay for 10 more seconds, right? I don't know really any of you, but I do know one thing. You could all fight a doggone shark for 10 seconds if you had to. So stay. On your next inhale, press into your mat, root down, spreading shoulder blades wide across your back, exhaling yourself through your flow. Exhale, SH. Inhale all the way full. Reset, recharge, regroup, and then let it go. HA. Inhale your right leg up. Now, as you step your right foot forward, let it land softly. Keep your left leg screwed into the floor, same as Warrior 2. Find a power lunge. We're going to go through our famous side angle series real quick just because it's dope. Right? So this line of energy draws all the way up through your left heel, through your left arm, hip goes forward, pull back, squeezing my finger from the engagement of those shoulder blades. As you exhale, interlace your fingers behind you so that on your inhale, you can really press them out and away, lifting and opening up through your heart. Exhale, release, sweep your arms forward and up, extended power lunge. Inhale, Warrior 1. Exhale, Warrior 2. Take an inhale to arrive, to check in with yourself, to complete a miniature checklist if you like. And then exhale, bring your right hand down inside your right foot for your side angle. We'll move quickly through it because you guys have been working so hard. Float your left arm forward, bicep by ear, extended side angle. And then exhale, SH. On that inhale and with empty lungs, bring the right arm forward and stay for 3. Core strengthener. Sit low in that lunge and rotate the right shoulder forward for 2. Exhale, bring your left hand down to the floor, inside right foot, peel open, revolve side angle. If you feel that you need to lift up onto your off of your left heel, then bring your left foot more forward. Now, float your right hand down so it's in between your left hand and your right foot. Take your right hand and thread it underneath from the inside under your thigh, bringing your hand to stack on top of your ankle for your ankle bind. Left hand meets it. Send your hips high. Relax through your head and take a breath. Go ahead and unwind yourself. Bring your right hand back down to the floor. Find your side angle by reaching up through that left arm. And then flip the palm of your left hand. Reach back around, taking maybe just this. Maybe just bringing your right elbow onto your thigh and reaching back for your half bind. Or loop that right arm all the way underneath right thigh, grabbing at fingers or wrists. And use your bottom arm, whether it's your hip or your arm, as leverage to peel that left shoulder open and look up. Send your breath up. Send your intention and your focus up. Exhale to unwind yourself, floating 2 hands down to your mat. Step your right leg back and then take yourself through your flow. I always think the second set is easier because I have an idea of where I'm going. So go ahead, inhale your left leg up, step it forward and through, come into your power lunge. Very nice. Suzanne, bring your arms down to your side and reach out. Yes, yes, very good. I like it. Now, interlace your fingers into the small of your back. And on your inhale, open up your chest and your heart. Exhale, release those arms and float them forward, biceps by ears. Inhale, warrior 1. Exhale, warrior 2. Take that inhale to check in with yourself. And then when you're ready, exhale, left hand down, inside left foot, side angle. Think about reaching the right arm up, but let the twist happen in your spine, not your more mobile shoulder. So your 2 hands should be in line with each other from the floor all the way up through your right middle finger. Now, go ahead and bring your right arm forward. Exhale, SH. On your inhale, it's 2 arms up for your core strengthener. Stay deep. It's 3 breaths. It's 3 intentional, honest breaths. If you can, then you must. Sit deeper and then bring your right hand down inside your right foot. Open up. Revolve side angle. Make the adjustment with your feet. If you're having trouble staying, think about pulling your 2 heels in towards each other energetically or isometrically, whichever big word you want to use, in order to help you hold that space. Now, bring your left hand down so it will be in between your right hand and your left foot. Take your left arm so it goes underneath, this time wrapping clockwise underneath your thigh. Wrap that hand on top of your ankle, bring your right hand to join it, and send your hips high. Remember what I just said about drawing your 2 heels in towards each other. It is especially relevant at this moment. That is where all of your stability and ability to stay will come from. Unwind yourself, bringing left hand down inside left foot, opening back up into that side angle, and then flip your palms, reach down and back from your right arm, and take your bind. So nice. For those of you that it's easy to reach for your fingers, Then draw up on your wrists. Sit a little bit deeper and really peel that shoulder open. She's going to kill me later after the class, but that's okay because I'm doing it for you. Go ahead, unwind yourself, float your two hands down to the floor, and take yourselves through your flow. Exhale, SH, and we just have one more thing to do before we come to the floor. Take a full and intentional inhale. Let it go, HA. Inhale your right leg up, step it forward and through. This time stay high on your left heel. Bring yourself up into your high crescent lunge. All right, sit a little bit deeper. Engage through those hips, root down through those big toe knuckles. This time, take your left hand and swing it down and around underneath your right, taking that same eagle wrap that we did before. And now inhale yourself, take that back bend. It's going to be tricky this time because your legs aren't directly underneath you. So do what you can. You get extra points if you fall out of it though, really. And then exhale, bring yourself forward. But as you come forward, now give yourself a little bit of a twist. So you're going to wrap your left elbow across your right knee so that you can unwind your arms and fly away. Those of you that have that bind in your practice, now is the time. From here, maybe just close your eyes. If you can close your eyes, then start to float your chin up towards your shoulder and your gaze, whether through your third eye or your actual gaze, to the ceiling. Unwind yourself now. Plant your two hands down to your mat and take yourself through your flow. Inhale your left leg up, step it through, meet me in your high crescent lunge. Sit a little bit deeper than you want to. Press through that back leg. Push into my hand. Push, push. Yes, he started shaking. That's good. Now take that right arm, bring it down and around underneath your left. Take your inhale to reach back, to look back, to go back. Exhale yourself down and forward. And then bring your right elbow across your left thigh, fly open. Really use whichever version you're taking, whether you're binding or flying away. Really think about how you can use that right arm to press into your left thigh in order to gain leverage to open up your left shoulder. Take one more inhale. And then exhale, release this. Step your left leg back. Take yourself through your flow. As you inhale, reach that right leg up and back, and then put a little bend in your knee as you step your foot across to the left side of your mat, and we all meet up in a half pigeon. And for those of you that have tight hips or ankles or anything that this is painful, there should be no grimace. If you feel that, then just flip over on your back and we'll take what's called a figure of four. Let me see if anybody that I can see is in that place. Everyone I can see is in half pigeon. So think about these adjustments where your left leg should be directly behind your left hip. It has a real tendency to want to flail out a little bit towards the left side of your body. As quickly as you can, relax through your upper body, relaxing even your head and your neck and your shoulders. And if it's hard for your forehead to come to the mat in a comfortable position, then stack your two fists on top of each other and bring your mat to your forehead. And from here, just stay. See, in yoga, a lot of times the poses happen when nothing's happening. So this is your opportunity to let these things that we've done so far sink in. Also, the point of yoga, right, is that we do these poses and all of these vigorous things in order to make our thoughts more accessible. It helps us to quiet our body so we can turn our attention into our mind. I would say that after watching all of you work so hard, any temptation at this point to fix or fidget probably has less to do with a physical need and a lot more to do with racing thoughts. Are you uncomfortable? Exhale your air with an SH sound. And as you take your inhale, think about coming back to your breath. It's pretty common that it's gotten away from you after all of that lunging and twisting. And as you let it go, exaggerate it, but make an HM sound and really feel how that vibrates in that space behind your eyeballs, and let that vibration travel down through your spine, your hips. On your inhale, lift your chin. With intention and purpose, thinking about the destination, or thinking about the trip, not the destination, let your heart follow. Bring your two arms to either side of your body, sit deeper for a breath. Now, take your right leg and swing it forward so you stack your two shins on top of each other, coming into a fire log. For those of you that have problems finding fire log, if you're unable to get your shins to stack on top of each other, or there's too much of a gap in between your knees and it's uncomfortable, then just straighten out your left leg. But it looks like we're all pretty good. So take your inhale now and puff up your chest, and then start to crawl your hands away from you. Exhale your chin into your chest. Submit to your breath. Exiting this pose the same way that we found it, the same way that we exited that pigeon. Start with your chin. Let your chest follow your chin and sit back. Now just switch your shins so that your left shin is now on the bottom, and swing your right leg out and around behind you, coming into your half pigeon on the other side. Being conscious of those preliminary adjustments, make them quickly and then stay. I'm not saying that you have to completely resist this temptation that may arise to fix or fidget, but what I am saying is to notice it. Be conscious of where it comes from. Your body knows the way. These poses, this breath work, all of these things are way older than anybody on this feed right now. Your body knows the way. Don't miss it. Don't mess it up. Don't let your thoughts interfere with how the pose lands. From here, go ahead and exhale, SH. Take that same intentional Inhale. HM. Inhale first your chin and then your chest. Walk your two arms to your side and sit deeper just for a breath. Then go ahead and swing your right leg forward. Find your fire log. Inhale to maybe move the flesh out from underneath your sits bones. Shift forward from your hips and then start to crawl yourself out, forward and down. Bring that forehead to rest heavy on your mat. Even if that's just an ultimate goal and not anything like a reality today. Exhale, SH. And now, as you inhale, reverse yourself out of this pose with all of that focus and intensity that you found it. Unwrap your legs, extend them in front of you, and then just come to lie down on your back. Spread your legs as far apart from each other as you like. Do the same with your arms, coming into your final Savasana for the evening. So if what I said before while we were in pigeon is true, that these poses happen when nothing is happening, then all of the 57 minutes that led up to this moment will take place now. I encourage you to stay here as long as you can. Thank you everyone for showing up for class. It's a real special thing to be in this apartment here in Manhattan and to share this practice with 70 people from really all over the world. You know, none of this would happen without the sense of community that is Yoga to the People. Our studios are all community based and anyone is welcome to practice at any of them at any time. Come onto this feed whenever you want to take a class. You know, the suggested donation is $12, but don't let that be a barrier to your attendance. Maybe your work today is just to show up and tell your friend about the class you had. There's a link in the chat to our Venmo if you are able to give. And I'll end by saying a true community is not just about being geographically close to someone or part of the same social web network. It's about feeling connected and responsible for what happens. Humanity is our ultimate community, and everyone plays a crucial role. One more time as this group, please exhale, SH. Inhale all the way full and let it go, HA. Please, please stay in this Savasana for as long as it's available to you. To finish the class, start by wiggling your toes, your fingers. Maybe just let your feet start to flop in and out, back and forth. And when you're ready, roll over onto your right side. You can draw your knees in towards your chest. Place your right hand down into your mat. Use your left arm for leverage and press yourself up into your seated position. With a nice cross-legged seat there, bring hands to heart center, and I will just say thank you to each and everyone that showed up tonight. If you'd like to unmute yourself and ask any questions or just say what's up to Alina or myself, we're here. Good job, Reed. Nice practice, brother.
Thanks, dear.